Hello, everybody. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English, the podcast about English learning and just a place where you can listen English easily and where you can practice your language step by step and have an amazing time. My name is Daniel, and I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad to be with you today. And today I want to discuss a new topic for you guys. The topic about our personal development, how not to be gullible. Yep, that's the topic for our today's discussion. How not to be gullible, right? How to not be gullible, that's the point. So we'll discuss this topic from the website www.wikihow.com. It's the website where you can learn things in English. And classically, you can learn so many things there. You just pick the area you're interested in and you just go ahead and learn as more as you can. But today I want to discuss and share my own thoughts about this topic, how to not be gullible. So the article here is authored by Samantha Fox, MSLMFT. So it's pretty fresh, a post, so from November 4th, 2024. So this lady, Samantha, she's a marriage and family therapist. So probably she knows things. And I think it's pretty good to know how to not be gullible. Do you know what does it mean to be gullible? It's a beautiful world. I love this world. To be gullible, it means to be the person who believe everything you hear or you see or whatever. So if you are that type of person who trusts everything, you're gullible. Okay, so generally speaking, the people who are gullible, it's the kids. The kids, when they're developing, they're extremely gullible. They just trust everything they hear, right? They don't have enough experience. That's why they are gullible. So as more you're living, as more you live this world, this life, your life, you're becoming more smart, right? And you becoming more developed person. And you're not having this gullibility. So you're not gullible anymore because you double check information. And today we'll discuss some easy ways how to stop being gullible. Okay, and of course, I will discuss this topic with different perspectives or from different perspectives. So we have the perspective of double checking information. So it's about researching and looking for information from many places. That's what we're going to discuss today. Another topic or discussion, I'll talk to you about this topic later. It's the part number 2. We'll have developing critical thinking. Probably next week or the week after, we'll discuss this topic. And next, the last topic about not being gullible, we'll discuss the tricks, how to avoid tricks, and many, many steps with a correlation of this topic, right? So classically speaking, or frankly speaking, we're going to discuss the big topic, how not be gullible. And this topic will have 3 parts. The first part I'll discuss today. Another part we'll discuss a couple weeks later. And the third part probably in the end of this year. So that's how it's gonna work, okay? So again, I'd love to discuss one topic from different perspectives because you can learn deeply, all right? And my perspective of English learning is not to go further, but to go deeper, right? So you can flatten your language or you can just go extremely deep, all right? So you're not trying to be a speeder, right? You're not trying to be very quick with learning a lot of vocab. No, you're going step by step, word after word, gradually learning the things you interested in, okay? And if you see something new, you discuss it, you kind of tasting it, and you're trying to understand how to use the language in your life, in the specific areas of your life. And that's how you're going to study today, guys. I'm going to share some thoughts on each segment here, and then we'll discuss some new vocab while I'm reading some cases. So it's going to be fun, I guess, right? So hope you would love it. And the fast, easy ways to stop being gullible. Just if you don't want to listen any other parts, there are 5 things which you should do, okay, to stop being gullible, all right? There are 5 things which WikiHow recommends us, with which Samantha is saying here. So number 1, the fact number 1, the way number 1 is to ask yourself if the source of information is credible or not. So it's a good phrase. We need to ask ourselves if the source, if the area you're looking is credible. It means you can trust it, or not credible, incredible. You know, there is a word in English, incredible. So it's something you cannot believe, but something is happening. For example, you say, oh my God, it's incredible. You can't believe it, right? But credible is an opposite of incredible. So credible thing, it's the information which is pretty realistic, which you can trust, and which has correlation with your life, okay? So let's go to the second step, second way of not being gullible, how to stop being gullible, right? The second step is we should research the thing or situation to determine if it's true, okay? So pretty simple step. We should go ahead and make a research. What does it mean to make a research? It means you go, you take your time, and you analyze the sources you're reading. You got your credible source, right? And then you were making many different trustworthy areas, trustworthy websites. You make a research, you double checking all the information with the same idea, right? And then you determine if it's true or not, because you have the area where you've collected some info, right? And now you can determine if it's true or not, right? You can see the logic. You can establish. Determine means establish. You can make it real. You know the word of determination, right? So that's where the word determine came from. So to determine, it means to find out the decisive factor, to decide something out, to define something. So when you make a decision, you're actually determining things. So research the field, many resources, and make a decision if it's true or not. It's very important to make a decision, because if you haven't done it, so you're still gullible, you still didn't pick any sides. If you trust an info, take it and live life according to it, okay? Because if you didn't do it, there are some challenges and troubles are coming, You should decide and follow what you have decided, okay? That's important case, I think. And I can say why, for example, I had experienced a beautiful state of my life when I trusted the people by their look, okay? So I saw some people, they looked like very expensive looking, good clothes, very nice looking people, but they were scammers. They spoke so much BS. BS mean bullshit. They did say very inappropriate things, and I trusted them just because they looked cool. But in the finale, it was not worth it. So hope you would not do the same mistake as me, and you're not going to be that gullible. So that was second step, right? The third step is pretty interesting too. So we should ask questions to fully understand things and situations. So yes, just ask a question. If you're not sure about something, ask a question. As more questions you had asked, the more information you had received, right? That's pretty connected things. So ask more questions. Number 4, step or way number 4, we need to read and seek out information to build your knowledge base. Yeah. So, and this kind of way is connected with the second one, with the researching the thing or situation, right? To determine our truthfully our true or false statement, right? So we should read and seek information to build our own knowledge base. We need to understand what kind of information is there, and just collect the base, and make it readable. So, and if you don't understand some part of info, just find an expert who understand that, and you can clarify some things. Clarify means you can understand more in these areas, right? So that's the case. Number 5, the last but not least in this easy way to stop being gullible thing, we should be more skeptical and don't rush decisions or jump to conclusions. So these 3 steps actually inside of that one. So you should be skeptical. What does it mean to be skeptical? Skepticism or being skeptical means to question everything. If somebody's saying this is a sweet dessert, you can say, are you sure it's sweet dessert? Let me check. And you can be skeptical and double check with questions. If you're not sure that the book is good, you can double check yourself what other people think about this book. So don't trust everything you hear, okay? If you don't trust everything by first touch, so you are becoming skeptical. Of course, over skeptical, some people, they're becoming over skeptical, so they're becoming too skeptical. It's too much, and you can destroy many relationships with people. You don't want that. You want to be skeptical enough to fix your own life and to be and to live effectively, okay? So don't rush decisions. Another good recommendation. So we don't need to rush decisions. We don't need to make decisions very quickly, because it makes sense. When you're rushing decisions, you make more mistakes than when you're not rushing decisions. So, and never jump to conclusions. So do not conclude things when you're not sure about something, right? Ask experts, speak with good people, speak with friends, and collect data again. Go to your knowledge base and just analyze as more as you can, and then jump to the final conclusion, okay? Do not jump to conclusion very fast in a rush. Not a good idea. Okay, that's the first introduction part, guys. So that was the easy ways to stop being gullible, what the WikiHow is recommending us here. And now we discuss a little bit deeper, right? We'll dive in, we will dig deeper, and we'll understand a little bit more. So the general topic for today is double checking information. And we have here, how many? 6 steps. We have 6 steps here. And, the text here is pretty big. I will read the segment if I see that it's not understandable or I want to see some more interesting vocab here. I will read the part. If it doesn't make any sense, we can just have a nice conversation and discuss things correlates with this concrete topic, okay? So let's begin. Double checking information, how to not be gullible. And the step number 1 is considering the credibility of the source. So considering a credibility of the source. What does it mean to consider the credibility, right? Considering, it means to think carefully, right? When you're considering, you are thinking very, very carefully about something. And in this context, we have consider the credibility of the source. So we have a source of information, the website, the book, or something else. And we can consider the credibility. We can consider, can we trust this information or not? For example, there are so many books right now about business, about self-discipline, about development, about everything what you can have in your life, right? And how to understand that the book worth it. So first of all, read the feedbacks, what people say about the book. It will prove you the credibility of the source. If people have no results according to the technique or book or the tactic, so just give up with this. Don't spend your time on it. So just consider the credibility of the source. If it's not worth it, ignore it. Don't be gullible. Do not spend your own personal time to make mistakes, right? So there are so many info gypsies right now. You know who is an info gypsy? It's the person who is just making money by selling you information. Long time ago, as a philosopher, as a person who loves philosophy, I can say that I can tell you that there were people who were selling information, and these people were making a lot of money. It's like Blinovska today, like this guy who was about business. This young business people communities, right? All of them are just gypsies, right? They are selling information with a lot of money, and they're not guaranteeing you anything. So they provide you some knowledges, but these knowledges you can find easily at any book you buy at the store. Just spend your time and be fine. Don't be gullible. Don't trust info gypsies. Okay. Again, another correlation I show you here, right? So consider the credibility. Think thrice, not twice, not one time, thrice, 3 times for the credibility of the source you're getting the info from. Okay. There are some examples here, what they're trying to show here. If you're reading a piece of news online, check out where it's coming from. Okay. Read about the journal or magazine and see how long it's been around, who contributes to it, and whether it's a scholarly or well-respected source. So what does it mean? Contributes. Who contributes to it? It means who made it, who had shared, who finished it, who did it, right? Who gave that thing to the world, right? Who contributed to it, who respected it, right? That's what contribute means. When you're contributing something, you making something, you creating something, right? So I'm contributing this podcast episode for you guys to your effective learning of English. And I spend my time, my resources, my energy for your success, right? That's my contribution in your life. To your life. What else? And we need to think about scholarly or well-respected sources, right? What does it mean scholarly? Am I right? I think it's scholarly, right? It's like academic resources, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is it scholarly or scholarly? Let me double check, guys. I don't want to be, the scholarly. I'm completely right here. And well-respected source, it's a source which you can trust again. If it's someone respected saying, let's say Elon Musk is saying something important and you like Elon Musk, you respect Elon Musk because he had proved us he's by actions that things are right or wrong. So you can trust the info. If you trust people, if the person had never, failed or did something wrong to you, so you can trust the guy, right? Or the person or the lady, whatever you're reading to. Okay. That was the first one, right? First comment here. The second comment here, see if the source is an authority on the subject, right? The source is an authority on the subject. So does the author dominates in this industry or not? If the author is a stupid asshole, oh my God, what I'm saying. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. If the guy or lady does not understand anything, so don't trust the info, right? For example, right now we're reading the information from the lady who is an expert. So she is not saying the BS right here. So she is telling us some crunches of knowledge, right? We need that. And we can trust her because she is an expert. That's what we should do. That was the first part. So we should consider the credibility of the source. We need to know who had created, who had contributed the specific information and for what reason. And then we'll have more opportunity to decide correctly, is it true or not, and not just trust the thing because somebody had said that, right? Second step, we need to search for evidence. Search for evidence. It's a step number 2. And with evidence, the life is pretty simple. Evidence, it's something that you had seen, that you had proved. It's, let's say, available facts, right, which you had found. That's an evidence. For example, people say to you, the earth is flat. And then you ask a simple question. Excuse me, you say that the earth is flat. Show me the evidence. Show me the proofs, guys. So that's how it works. So we need to search for evidence. As more evidence you see, as more information you can analyze, and then jump to the conclusion and making a decision, right? I was a believer, and I'm kind of still a believer, that space is not what the picture or these cosmonauts and astronauts are saying to us. I think it's all kind of deeply fakey, I would say, because I don't really believe that the Earth looks like the picture shows us. I don't believe that Americans being on the moon. I'm not in trust that the space is livable in the case what they say or they show us. Maybe I'm just gullible, but I had researched so many platforms and so many thoughts on that topic, and there are many people who believe that things are right, things are good about the space and the moon. And there are so many people who say that it's all fake, it's all Illuminati conspiracy, it's all the secrecy and conspiracy. Conspiracy, it's like it's hidden with a special secret group, that's a conspiracy. For a reason, somebody hide an information, and they don't want you to know specific facts. The same as about Egypt, the same as about Atlantis, the same as about the past history of our planet, and everything like that. Why you have so much sand near Egypt? So why Australia, such a crazy place with huge spiders and everything? It's very, very questionable why things are the things they are, right? So, okay, don't want to go too deep into this. So search for evidence, guys. Try to find facts, right? Where are the facts? Find them, and you're not gonna be gullible. That was the step number 2. Step number 3, we should admit that we don't know everything. That's a very important statement here. And I want to share my own experience here. I was the person who always argued with people about things. I thought that I'm right and I have a point of view and I want to prove my point. It was such a stupid idea to do so because just, I didn't admit that there are so many things that I didn't know. And the Socrates once said that I know nothing. And he said that for a reason, actually. So I know that I know nothing is so deep because it's really true. As more you're living, as more questions you've got. So, I had started my philosophy school 2 years ago. And you know what? I feel much more questions. I have much more questions right now than I had started before. It's crazy. It's just, it works like that. So you starting something and then you want to know more and more, and you see more facts and more details, and now you're more intrigued and you want to know more things, but you have, thrice more or 3 times more questions than before, right? That's the main point. So you should admit that you don't know everything. It's very important to admit that. So when you admitting, you accepting the point that you don't know everything. People are people. You cannot know. You cannot know everything. It's not possible to know everything. There are books. There are different sources. And what I do right now, I admit that I don't know anything, right? I don't know anything. and I can say that the book says, or the person says, right? I can only give a link to something. For even now, what I'm doing, I'm giving you the link to WikiHow and sharing my own thoughts on the topic, right? But if you really interested what the person thinks, you can just double check and read the information your own, right? But that's the point. We are reading something, and I'm linking the information and commenting the information. Because I have my own position, I have my own vibe or feeling, and the person can have her own feeling or feel, right? That's the point. Yeah, and let's read what she thinks about that, right? There are two things about admitting that we don't know everything. There are two facts here. Let's start the first one just to get some more vocab, because I'm using pretty simple vocab and I want you to learn something new today. So it's humbling to admit you don't know everything there is to know. It's humbling to admit. What does it mean, humbling to admit? You know, there is a person who is humble and there is a person who is egocentric and selfish, right? Humble person never think that he is cool. Humble person always cool, always agreeable. You know, that's a humble person. Humble person never show that he is better than anybody. So humble means good, okay, in my opinion. Humble is a good state. To be humble is good. And it's humbling to admit you don't know everything there is to know, right? This is the first step to becoming a more critical thinker and to understand that arguments are often more complicated than they seem, or more complicated than you may give them credit for. Yeah, it's true. Again, that's a pretty simple idea here. So we should understand that there are so many arguments and there are so many points of view, and it's good to be humble. It's good to learn and know all of these positions and arguments, but we can decide ourselves what is better for us. If you have some beneficial parts, so probably you choose what to believe, right? If you have benefits from one argument, just take your position and live your life according to this argument. If you have no benefit and you're saying that something is wrong, it doesn't play any good in your life. So why do you stand for it, right? It doesn't make any sense. So that's the point. Yeah, that was the first comment. And the second, while you should admit you don't know everything to yourself, you don't have to be eager to offer this information to others, right? Another good phrase here, to be eager, right? To be eager, it means to be impatient, to be kind of a little bit, I would say, anxious, right? I guess that's exactly what it is. So to be eager, to be super concentrated, want to want something so much, right? You don't want to offer information to others, right? And because you don't know everything, and you don't have to say to everyone that you are the number one source. And even me, if you're listening to my podcast and you think I am the number one source where you can learn how to learn English, I'm one of the sources. There are plenty of podcasts. There are plenty of resources. There are plenty of books, plenty of teachers who can teach you English, right? I'm just one of them who can share my own life and experience. So if you want to stay with me, I'm really happy for you. But if you want to study English with someone else and listen other positions, it's completely fine. I am admitting this completely normally. I'm not trying to win you over someone else. So, and they give us here another example. If you're buying a car, you don't want to tell the salesperson, I don't know anything about cars, or you're making it much more likely that people will take advantage of you. Yes. So it's very important to be a little bit smart here. If you're going to buy a car, you need to show that you understand things, at least some knowledges, because if you don't, people, egocentric and bad people will see that, and they would try to manipulate you to make a purchase of things you don't want. And that's a very dangerous thing. I hope you got my point. So let's jump to the fourth statement. And the fourth step or statement, how not be gullible, is pretty simple and one of my favorite. Just read more. Read more books, read more websites, or read more topics, right, on the topic you're interested in. So if you want to be gullible less, so you should read more. People who seek information are always reading and learning more. It's pretty obvious here, right? So, the person who controls the information controls the world, how the man said, right? And we should know about this. Pretty simple, and I don't want to concentrate here too much. And it's pretty obvious here, right? So we just need to read more. Step number 5, don't be afraid to ask questions. Yes, indeed. That's a very good statement here. And I like this statement because, when I was a kid, I thought that asking questions is bad because you look like a guy who is stupid. And you show yourself that you are not understanding something is not clear, you need some extra clarification. That's why I was afraid to ask questions, but I don't afraid anymore. If I have a question, so for example, right now I do karate. Karate, it's a martial art, like taekwondo, boxing, or I don't know what else, judo or something else. So karate is one of the martial arts. And if I do have a question, I love to ask questions to my sensei. I say, "Sensei, excuse me, I don't understand how to do the okutsuki or gyakutsuki, or how to do the mawashigiri correctly." So I always ready for a question because yes, I can look like as stupid, but I don't care because while I'm asking questions, I'm getting smarter, and you cannot call me stupid when I had learned something, right? I think it makes sense. And, I like to volunteer with Sheridar Camp, very good place. I'm helping kids with cancer diseases who had recovered from it. And then we have, during the training, our team like to say that there are no bad questions. If you have a question, it's good. It can be valuable because many people are afraid to ask questions. And when you are smart enough and brave enough to ask a question, so you can answer many other silent people questions, because that's very important to help them as well. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And now I'm going to read a couple examples here. If you are the kind of person who is known for asking questions, then people will be less likely to try to trick or scam you. Yes, pretty simple thing. If somebody is trying to scam you, ask more questions. As more questions you ask that person, then less scam gonna work on you, because the people, they need to improvise answering your questions, and it makes their life more stressful because you're a critical thinker, you're asking many questions, you double checking the information, and they can fail any moment, and they know this, they understand this. So you can break their game easily, smash them out, and that's how it works. Ask more questions, right? It's just in correlation with a scam or tricks, right? If you are in class, then asking a million questions may derail the teacher a bit. Just ask what you really need to know right then, and talk to the teacher after class if you have further question. Yeah, derailing, a new word here, right? So classically derailing, it's just okay. It's about frustration, probably, right? Derail the teacher. It can be. This word correlates with railroads, but we discuss kind of frustration, right? The teacher don't want you to ask many questions, extremely big amount of questions. They want you to ask couple questions, but not many. Because if you ask many, it's derailing the teacher. The teacher had a plan or has a plan, and he wants to follow the plan, but you are just stressing out his game and you're messing up with his plan. And he doesn't want that, or she doesn't want that. So just you need to double check for sure what you want to ask, and then just be patient and ask what you really want to know. That was the step number 6, right? Number 5, right? And now we generally go to the last but not least statement. We need to discuss the last one. It's the way ask for a second opinion and a third. I love this statement because when you have your own opinion, it's amazing. But when you can ask for a second opinion, it can make your position stronger. And when you can hear the third position, it's even better, because as more positions you have in your life, as more analysis you can do with that. And that's a very cool thing, to ask for a second opinion, right? You just come with your decision and ask, hey, what do you think? I think that this is true. What do you think about this? You can just ask people you trust and people who you think are great. And you can ask their own opinion, what they think about this, right? And if you're free to do so, you are becoming much more smarter. And of course, you're becoming less gullible. Okay, so let's see what the lady said here. If you really want to think critically and investigate situations thoroughly, right? Thoroughly means completely, fully, right? Thoroughly. So then you should avoid getting all of your information or opinions from one source. Sure, your friend or cousin might have almost sold you on the best way to bake apple pie or mow your lawn, but you are better off asking another person what they think of looking up the issue or story online. If you have only heard a fact from one person, then you're much more likely to get tricked than if you ask more people what they think. Yeah, that's what I just said, right? So you should double check information just to avoid yourself from scamming, right? That's very important, from a scam. So, and it works everywhere. It works with news. It works with an internet. It works with people, with ideas, with philosophies, with businesses. Everything works there. Have your own question, have your own position, and then ask for a second opinion and third opinion, or even fourth opinion. It's completely fine. As more opinions you have, as better position you have, right? Because you can analyze, you can make your own good decision. That's all, guys. That was the number 6, right? The 6th one was the last one. And let's revise again, right? We spoke today about double checking information, and we discussed that we can do it, number 1, by considering the credibility of the source. We can double check who had written the source. We discussed that it's important to search for evidence. Next, we discussed that it's good to admit that we don't know everything, right? As step number 3. Step number 4, we discussed that it's important to just read more. The step number 5 was to not be afraid to ask questions, because stupid people not asking questions. And the last but not least step was to ask for a second opinion and a third opinion, which is pretty beautiful, right? So, and we finally had discussed how not be gullible, part 1. And I hope to see you guys very soon to discuss even more fun in English. And I hope that episode was pretty successful, pretty usable, pretty interesting for you. I want you to have an amazing day or evening or morning. It doesn't matter when you hear this podcast. What really matters to me, is it usable? Do you have a good success with your English? Are you developing your language? That's what really makes me happy. So if you do have any feedbacks, or if you want to tell me how is your English doing, send me a message to my Telegram, send me a message to my VK or my Instagram. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I see you very soon. Bye bye.